Unfortunately, there were survivors. We're told the Earth needs another 100 years to become survivable.
Human experimentation, cannibalism, mind drives that give other people the ability to control your brain, and portals that allow you to transport to other planets are just some of the things that have been tackled in the 7 seasons of The 100. It has been a great ride, to say the least, and fans are absolutely going to miss the series, which has provided them with entertainment and intrigue. Fans were sad to see the show end, but they were not disappointed with its explosive finale. However, fans are itching to know more about the cast. In this video, we're going to discuss the rules that the show's cast were forced to follow. But before we get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. What's the show all about? The 100 is a series set 97 years after a nuclear war wiped out almost all of civilization on Earth. The only known survivors are the residents of 12 space stations that are in the Earth's orbit before the war. By banding together as one massive space station called the Ark, a group of criminal adolescents are sent back to Earth in the hope of possibly repopulating the planet. The show premiered on CW in March 2014 and ended in September of 2020. The series is loosely based on the novel series by the same name of Cass Morgan and was developed by Jason Rothenberg. Everyone must get along with their co-stars. When you become a cast member of a show that has lasted for a decade, your castmates are no longer people you work with. They become your family. There are a few lucky people who manage to remain friends throughout an entire run of their show, but the crew of 100 took on a completely different route. While shooting the series, Lindsey Morgan, who plays the role of Raven in the show, revealed that she became roommates with another star, Tasia Tellis Echo, and they spend 24/7 with each other. The job must always come first. When you are part of the cast of the 100, you should always keep in mind that your personal life only comes second to your job. The moment you come to set, you leave your personal life behind. Even if you're going through a tough time personally, you shouldn't let it affect your work. In 2018, Bob Morley had surgery, and while in recovery, he couldn't walk for several months. The crew was kind enough to give the star a week off from work, which is not really that long. This is why in season 6, audiences saw him sitting down most of the time. The entire time that fans were enjoying the series so much, Morley was going through a battle that's not visible to people, but he found the courage to keep on delivering excellent work. He also showed up to set every day after his week's rest. If you have any relationship with your co-star, you shouldn't let it affect the show. If there's one good thing that the show did for Bob Morley and Eliza Taylor, is that it brought the two of them closer together as a couple. To ensure that things would flow smoothly, the company set a strict rule for all the show's real-life couples to follow. Co-stars falling in love and breaking up has always been a huge problem for actors, directors, and even the production crew. Everyone on the show also doesn't want to watch couples pack on the PDA 24/7 and argue with each other. Morley and Taylor shared that they keep their private lives separate and keep their work and their personal life separated from each other. They make sure that fiction and real life don't intermingle with each other. So even if they've been arguing with each other for the whole night, they can be as cordial as they can be on set if their roles are all for it. Anyone can be written off if it makes the show more interesting. When you're a cast member of the 100, there's no assurance that you'll remain in the show until the very end. There's an agreement that your character could be written off at any time for the sake of the show. You might remember a heartbreaking moment when Thomas McDonald, portraying the role of Finn, was killed brutally on the show. Fans were yearning for his return to the show. However, the crew production had other things in mind. Fans were so upset that the showrunners had no choice but to release a statement to fans explaining to everyone that they knew Finn's character was not going to be in the show for so long. In 2020, fans were surprised unpleasantly yet again when Bellamy was sacrificed for shock value. In September 2020, Morley used his Instagram to address fans and say goodbye to them. "I am deeply grateful to all that have been involved in the production for over 7 long years. I've forged memories on and off set and conversations that will burn brightly for the rest of my life. Farewell, Bellamy. It's time for the big sleep. Rest easy, you are finally free." Any scandal off-screen is not tolerated. One of the toughest rules the 100 stars have to follow is that they should avoid any inappropriate behavior off-screen. The production companies don't want to be associated with any scandals and bad experiences. If any of the stars cross the line and cause harm to the image of the show and the entire project, the actress or actor can be fired then and there. Eagle-eyed fans may have noticed that there was someone named Kyle Wick, who was Raven's love interest. Fans wondered where he disappeared to because he suddenly just exited from the show. Steve Talley, the actor playing the role of Kyle Wick, was fired from the show because of making inappropriate comments on his social media content. Though the specific Twitter account wasn't verified, many actors referred to the account as the one owned and used by Wick. You must always be at the top of your game when you come to the set. Everyone is expected to bring their A game when they are on set. All the actors on the show are extremely dedicated to their craft and they always do their best. So when hiring actors to play intense scenes in a post-apocalyptic post-apocalyptic show, the directors and producers don't expect anything less than full dedication. Marie Avgeropoulos made sure she was in great shape for the show by doing Zumba and kickboxing. She also did most of her stunts and said that she is an adrenaline junkie and has always been someone more like a tomboy while growing up. She further said that she was very happy to be able to apply the things she liked doing to that show. To stay in shape and be fit enough to do her stunts, she does Pilates, goes to the gym, and also practices martial arts. For one of her earliest stunts in the show, she had to be strapped into a rig to make the scene look like Jaws. However, she also had mishaps on the show and she got injured with a spear while filming the pilot episode. The show finally bid goodbye to all its fans in September 2020. The show's final episode also happened to be its 100th, which is apropos considering the title. Although it has never found mainstream success, it had a loyal and passionate fan base thanks to its diverse characters and dramatic twists. Set as a series where anyone could die at any time, the show was something of an experiment for the CW, where Joseph Rothenberg was allowed to push the envelope as far as he possibly could. Interestingly, Rothenberg and the rest of the cast didn't use social media, but learned to do so as the series picked up steam. There's been a bit of controversy with all the characters that were killed off, and fans weren't afraid to let their feelings be known on Twitter. The show's cast thinks it's amazing that the fans feel so much for the characters because it means they're doing a great job. Fans are curious where the series was filmed. The show was filmed in various locations in Canada, including downtown Vancouver, the forests of British Columbia, and the tunnels of old copper mines. Some fans were quick to point out that some locations looked familiar. That's understandable, because those are also the same places where The Flash and Riverdale were filmed. That's also the reason why there's many Canadians in the cast, such as Devin Bostick, Richard Harmon, and Marie Avgeropoulos. Although the characters in the show are supposed to be teenagers, some of the cast are really not that young, are also older than their prototypes from the book. Octavia, the youngest of all the teens, was only 14 in the first book, but she's 17 at the start of the show. However, Marie Avgeropoulos is much older in real life. She's already 31. She was 28 at the time of casting. The book has been influenced by sci-fi. Octavia was named after the Roman Emperor Augustus' sister Octavia. However, most fans don't know that author Cass Morgan took a lot of the characters' names from various science fiction writers. Wells was named after H.G. Wells. Octavia was named after Octavia Butler. Bellamy was named after Edward Bellamy. Clark was named after Arthur C. Clarke. Some names aren't derived from famous authors, and those were new additions to the series and were not in the novel. Some of the actors were lucky enough to get in the show without even auditioning. Yup, you heard that right, and Eliza Taylor was one of the lucky few. She revealed in an interview that she didn't audition for the role of Clark. She had been living in Los Angeles for a month at the time of casting, and her credit card was stolen, so she was ready to go back to Australia. Fortunately, one of the producers saw an audition tape she had done for another film. She was asked to come in for a reading the very next day. After a little while, she was on her way to Vancouver to shoot the pilot episode. Which rules do you think are the hardest to follow? Let us know in the comments section down below. We'll see you again in the next video. Stay safe.